A business class seat from Dallas to London. That's a real flight. A flat bed, champagne at 35,000 feet, and the full experience retails for up to $9,000 one way. $9,000. Or you book that same experience for 47,500 points and about $5.60 in taxes. Not $50, not $500, $5.60. That's what we're talking about today. And by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly how to do it, step by step, flying out of DFW. Welcome back to Travelheim. If you're new here, this channel is built for people who fly out of DFW and want to stop paying full price for travel. I'm based right here in Irving, Texas, and I fly out of DFW constantly, so everything I show you is real and actually works from this airport. Today's video is a complete breakdown of the best ways to fly from DFW to London using points and miles, business class one way for as little as 47,500 points. I'm going to cover which airlines fly this route, which points programs to use, which credit card currencies matter, and then I'm going to walk you through the actual booking process on screen. Let's get into it. First, let's talk about what your options actually look like flying out of Dallas-Fort Worth. Which airlines fly DFW to London? The big player here is American Airlines. AA is headquartered in Fort Worth. DFW is their home turf, and they run direct, non-stop flights from DFW to London Heathrow. That's Terminal D. You'll find multiple daily departures depending on the season. British Airways also flies DFW to Heathrow non-stop, so you've got two solid non-stop options right out of Dallas, which is genuinely great compared to a lot of U.S. cities. Now, here's something you need to know because it trips people up. Delta does not fly DFW to London directly, 0 non-stops. If you want to fly Delta Metal or book Delta One business class, you're connecting, typically through Atlanta or through JFK. We'll talk about why that still makes sense in a minute. What does this route cost in cash? Let's be real about the numbers, because understanding the cash price is what makes the points value. One-way business class on this route, you're looking at $3,898 on the low end, and that's when you're lucky, timing is right, and you got the sale. The normal range is closer to $6,000 to $10,000 one way. Round-trip business class runs $4,891 to over $10,000. Economy round trip starts around $833 if you catch a deal on something like Aer Lingus with a connection, but you're not here to fly economy if you can help it. The point is, this is a premium route. Airlines know they can charge for it. Business class on a transatlantic flight is genuinely a different experience. Lie flat seats, real meals, lounge access. You land feeling like a human being instead of a pretzel, and the cash prices reflect that. Which is exactly why this is one of the best routes to use your points on. Dollar for dollar, or rather points for dollar, the value you extract here is enormous.
Let me give you a quick frame of reference. If you're redeeming points worth roughly 1 cent each, which is average, then 47,500 points equals $475 in value. But you're getting a seat that retails for $5,000 to $9,000. That's 10x to 19x your money. This is why points people obsess over transatlantic business class. Okay, let's get into the actual options. I'm going to give you 5 programs ranked roughly by how much I like them for this specific route. I'll tell you the points cost, which credit cards transfer in, and the key pros and cons. Take notes. Cost, 47,500 to 50,000 miles, one way, business class. This is the one I led with in the hook, and it's my top pick for DFW travelers. Here's how it works. Virgin Atlantic's Flying Club lets you book Delta-operated flights using Virgin points. So you're flying Delta One, their business class, but you're paying for it with Virgin miles. The magic here is the fuel surcharge situation. Virgin Atlantic does not pass fuel surcharges onto Delta bookings. That means your taxes are literally $5.60. That's not a typo. $5.60. I've paid more than that for a parking meter at DFW. Who transfers to Virgin Atlantic Flying Club? Chase Ultimate Rewards, one-to-one transfer. Amex Membership Rewards, one-to-one transfer. Capital One Miles, one-to-one transfer. Citi Thank You Points, one-to-one transfer. And Built Rewards, one-to-one transfer. And here's a big deal. Chase and Amex transfers to Virgin Atlantic post in 1 to 5 minutes. So if you find award space tonight, you can transfer your points and book it tonight. No waiting 24 to 48 hours. The catch? Delta does not fly DFW to LHR directly. So you're connecting, typically through Atlanta or JFK. The Atlanta connection is usually seamless. ATL is a major Delta hub. It adds a few hours to your trip, but for the value you're getting, most people consider this an easy trade. Verdict? Best overall. Lowest cost, lowest fees, fast transfers, broad credit card support. Start here. Cost: 60,000 miles, one-way, business class. Aeroplan is underrated, and I think a lot of U.S. travelers sleep on it. Here's the deal. Aeroplan lets you book Star Alliance partner flights, which includes Lufthansa, Swiss, and Austrian. These airlines have incredible business class products. Lufthansa's new business class is genuinely world-class, and you can book them through Aeroplan without the brutal fuel surcharges those carriers normally charge. The routing from DFW typically goes through Europe. You'd connect through Frankfurt, Zurich, or Vienna before continuing to London. That's 2 flights, but both segments are in business class. Who transfers to Aeroplan? Chase Ultimate Rewards. Amex Membership Rewards. Capital One Miles. Built Rewards. Pros? Access to some of the best European business class products. No fuel surcharges on partner bookings. Strong transfer partner network. Cons: 60,000 miles is 12,500 to 22,500 more than Virgin. And the connection through a European hub means a longer journey. Verdict: excellent if you want Lufthansa or Swiss business class specifically, or if you can't find Delta One availability through Virgin. Cost: 50,000 to 55,000 Avios one-way, business class. British Airways Avios can book American Airlines flights. And remember, AA flies DFW to London non-stop. That's the appeal here. You could literally fly straight through, no connection.
The surcharge trap. Here's where you need to pay attention. If you book a British Airways-operated flight with Avios, BA adds fuel surcharges. We're talking $150 to $300 in fees. That's not crazy, but it's not $5.60 either. But, and this is important, if you book an American Airlines-operated flight using your Avios, those surcharges go away. AA doesn't charge fuel surcharges on award tickets, so book the AA Metal, skip the surcharges. Who transfers to BA Avios? Chase Ultimate Rewards, one-to-one. Amex Membership Rewards, one-to-one. Capital One Miles, one-to-one. Built Rewards, one-to-one. Pros: non-stop flight option from DFW. Good AA business class. Flagship business. Widely transferable currency. Cons: higher point cost than Virgin. Must be careful to book AA Metal, not BA Metal, to avoid surcharges. Verdict: strong option if nonstop matters to you and you want to use Avios. Just be deliberate about which metal you're booking on. Cost: 45,000 to 75,000 miles. The low end of that range can be exceptional. Turkish Airlines loyalty program is one of those hidden gems that frequent flyer nerds talk about constantly, and for good reason. 45,000 miles for business class on a Star Alliance carrier is genuinely low, potentially the cheapest business class option on this list. No fuel surcharges. The program is particularly good for off-peak bookings. Who transfers to Turkish Miles&Smiles? Capital One Miles, one-to-one. Citi Thank You Points, one-to-one. The catch is that transfers are only from Capital One and Citi. If your main stash is Chase or Amex, you can't get here directly. That limits who this works for. Also, the search engine for Miles&Smiles can be, let's call it an adventure. It works, but it's not the most user-friendly interface. Verdict: phenomenal value if you have Capital One or Citi points. Otherwise, you're not in this game without a workaround. Cost: 50,000 miles one way, business class. Flying Blue is Air France and KLM's joint loyalty program. They run promo rewards every month, flash sales on award tickets where the price can drop significantly, sometimes by 25 to 50%. The DFW routing would typically connect through Paris CDG or Amsterdam AMS, both great airports with excellent lounges if you're in business class. Who transfers to Flying Blue? Chase Ultimate Rewards, 1-to-1. Amex membership rewards, 1-to-1. Capital One Miles, 1-to-1. Citi Thank You Points, 1-to-1. Pros: one of the most widely transferable currencies. Monthly promo rewards can be exceptional deals. Paris and Amsterdam are fun connection cities. Cons: can carry fuel surcharges depending on the routing. Check fees before transferring. Verdict: worth monitoring for promo rewards deals. The broad transfer network makes it flexible. Quick recap before we move on. Virgin Atlantic Flying Club is your starting point for this route. 47,500 miles, $5.60 in taxes, and it works with Chase, Amex, Capital One, Citi, and Bilt. If you can't find Delta One availability through Virgin, Aeroplan at 60,000 miles is your next move. Avios gives you the nonstop option on AA. Turkish is your play if you're heavy on Capital One or Citi points. Flying Blue is worth watching for promotions. Now, let's actually walk through how to book this. We're going to walk through booking the Virgin Atlantic Delta One option because it's the best value and it teaches you the pattern you'll use for everything else.
Here's what you need before you start. A Virgin Atlantic Flying Club account, free to create at virginatlantic.com. Points in a transferable currency, Chase, Amex, Capital One, Citi, or Bilt. Flexibility on dates. Award space is easier to find when you're not locked in to one specific day. Let's go. Step 1. Search for award availability before transferring your points. I'm searching from Atlanta to London first, not Dallas. Why? Because Delta's nonstops to London from DFW don't exist. The connection to ATL is the first leg. I want to confirm the transatlantic piece has availability before I do anything else. When you see a date with Delta One availability, you'll see it listed as Delta with the business class option. The price should show at 47,500 or 50,000 miles plus the $5.60 in taxes. Select it, go through the booking flow, and pause before payment. Do not transfer your points until you've confirmed the flight is actually available and you've seen the full booking screen. This is important. We'll talk about why in the mistakes section. Step 2. Add the DFW to ATL leg. Sometimes the Virgin Atlantic search will automatically show you the full itinerary, DFW to ATL to LHR as a package. Sometimes you'll need to look at the connecting options. Either way, what you're paying for is the long-haul transatlantic segment. The domestic connection is typically included or minimal. Confirm your full itinerary. You want DFW to ATL to LHR or DFW to JFK to LHR, all in business/Delta One on the transatlantic piece. Step 3. Transfer your points. Now that you've confirmed availability, transfer your points. Here's the process through Chase. Log in to Chase Ultimate Rewards, click Transfer Points, search for Virgin Atlantic, enter the amount you need, 47,500 for off-peak, 50,000 for peak. Confirm the transfer. Chase transfers to Virgin Atlantic typically post within 1 to 5 minutes. I've had it happen in under 2 minutes, so you're not waiting around. Once it posts, you'll get a confirmation and your Virgin Flying Club balance will update. Step 4. Complete the booking. Go back to your Virgin Atlantic booking session. You may need to research since sessions time out, confirm the flight, apply your miles, pay the $5.60 tax on a credit card, and confirm. You'll get a booking confirmation from Virgin Atlantic and a separate one from Delta since it's a Delta-operated flight. Save both. The Delta confirmation number is what you'll use at the airport. Step 5.
access the lounge. One more thing, Delta One passengers get Delta Sky Club access at DFW and ATL. Walk in, grab food and drinks before your flight, make yourself at home. You booked a $9,000 seat for $5.60. You've earned the lounge. Alternative path, booking through Aeroplan. If you try Virgin and can't find Delta availability, here's the Aeroplan path. Same concept, search first, confirm availability, then transfer from Chase, Amex, Capital One, or Bilt into your Aeroplan account. Transfer times vary but are typically quick. Book the Lufthansa or Swiss segment. You're routing through Frankfurt, Zurich, or Vienna. Slightly more miles, slightly longer trip, but some of the best business class seats in the sky. Let me save you some headaches. These are the actual mistakes people make when trying to book this exact type of trip.
Mistake number 1, transferring points before confirming availability. This is the biggest one. Points transfers are one-way and irreversible. Once you move your Chase points to Virgin Atlantic, they live in Virgin Atlantic forever. You cannot move them back. So if you transfer first and then can't find availability, or the space disappears while you were processing the transfer, you're stuck with miles in a program you might not use for months. The fix? Always search, find the flight, confirm the booking page looks right, and only then transfer. You have a few minutes of buffer once you've identified space. Mistake number 2, booking on the wrong airline metal and paying unnecessary surcharges. This one bites BA Avios users constantly. British Airways charges fuel surcharges on their own flights, up to $300. But if you book an American Airlines operated flight using Avios, there are no surcharges. Before you book, check who's operating the flight. The booking airline, BA, and the operating airline, AA, can be different. Operating airline determines the surcharge rules. Get in the habit of checking this. Mistake number 3, not having enough points and then rushing. A lot of people find great award space, get excited, go to transfer, and realize they're 8,000 points short. Now they're scrambling. The space disappears. Frustrating. The fix? Know your points balances across all your programs before you start searching. Keep a rough count in your head. You don't need to be ready to book tomorrow, but know roughly where you stand. If you're building toward a trip like this, 47,500 to 60,000 points is your target for a one-way business class flight. Factor that into your credit card spending strategy now. Mistake number 4, not checking multiple programs. If you only look at one loyalty program, you're leaving options on the table. Award availability is not consistent across programs. Delta One might have 0 space showing on Delta's own website, but show up perfectly fine through Virgin Atlantic Flying Club. Partner booking programs often surface availability that the operating airline's own site doesn't show prominently. Check the partner programs. Virgin, Aeroplan, and Avios are your main windows into this route. Mistake number 5, ignoring the connection to ATL or JFK. Some people dismiss this option because it's not non-stop. And I get it, the idea of a direct DFW to LHR on AA is appealing. But here's the math. You're adding maybe 2 to 3 hours for a connection through Atlanta in exchange for saving potentially $6,000 to $8,000 versus cash. And you're doing it for $5.60 in fees. The connection is worth it. You've got a nice lounge, you're in business class, the experience is excellent. If nonstop is genuinely non-negotiable for you, maybe a medical reason, maybe you just really hate connections, then use Avios to book the AA Direct DFW to LHR. That's what that option is for. But go in understanding the surcharge situation and price accordingly. Mistake number 6, waiting too long. Award space on transatlantic business class goes fast, especially on popular summer dates and holidays. If you see availability that works, move on it. The mental calculus of, I'll wait and see if something better appears, has killed a lot of great bookings. Good is good. Don't let perfect be the enemy of a free business class flight to London.
All right, that's the full picture. DFW to London, business class, using points. Here's what you learned today. Virgin Atlantic Flying Club at 47,500 miles with $5.60 in taxes is your best overall option.
Aeroplan at 60,000 miles is your backup with access to Lufthansa and Swiss. BA Avios gets you the non-stop on American Airlines, just book AA Metal. Turkish Miles&Smiles is a sleeper value if you have Capital One or Citi. Chase Ultimate Rewards is the most flexible currency for this route. It unlocks Virgin, Aeroplan, Avios, and Flying Blue. And the process is, search first, find the space, confirm the booking, transfer the points, book it. If this was helpful, subscribe. I post these step-by-step breakdowns regularly, and we're building a whole series around flying smarter out of DFW. I also put together a flight optimization checklist. It covers how to audit your current points balances, which cards to prioritize for this kind of trip, and a quick reference guide for the programs we covered today. That's linked in the description below. Drop a comment if you have questions about your specific point situation. I read them all. I'll see you in the next one.